Hi everyone, welcome to Creating My Garden. My name is Jacqueline, and today we're going to plant some amaranth seed. That was a mouthful for me. We're going to plant two kinds up today. One is Joseph's Coat, which I've never planted before, so this should be interesting. Now the packet says that this is a blazing whirl of fantastic color. Joseph's Coat is beautiful when used in containers, edging, or mass plantings. It's very striking, and it's celebrate with the fireworks as species. It's a great centerpiece, so we'll use this in some bouquets. It is heat and drought tolerant, which is perfect for the prairies and for those dry desert conditions, and very little fertilizer. These don't require a lot of care. So some water and some sun, and we're good to go. Now, these are an annual. You have to thin them. They are full sun, and they're going to get 28 to 36 inches high. So we'll get 3 to 4 feet high. So they'd be nice at the back of a border or in the middle of a border. I would like to see this paired with hollyhocks as well, because of the height of the hollyhocks behind them would be stunning. And some salvias in front would be absolutely beautiful. If you want to do a tropical design in your garden, then I'm looking for some of the hot reds and oranges of geraniums with this. You could put some begonias with it, and or some yellows like marigolds, some of the different daisies and things with it, and that would be gorgeous. Anyhow, let's get going with this one. That one's there. The next one we're planting up is another amaranth, and it's Love Lies Bleeding. I've seen a few gardeners do videos on this one, and it's absolutely stunning. Okay, so this is an exotic plant. Once again, it is an annual. They have long hanging tassels that can reach up to 18 inches long. So imagine the plant about this high, maybe even higher, depending on your growing conditions. And then these long red strands hanging down. Make some pretty cool arrangements, and just look, you know, they're a feature in the garden you're going to talk about with your friends and stuff when they come and see it. And once again, this one is going to go a bit taller. 3 to 5 feet high, so definitely at the back of a border, and once again sun, and it does take a little bit of shade. All right, so let's get going. So I'm going to start with the first one, which is the Joseph's Coat. So let's have a look and see what kind of seed we got with this first, so we know how we're going to plant it. I always like to look and see how thick that, or how big that seed is, and how much seed we have in these little packets. I mean, I've had packets where there's hardly anything in, and I've had packets where there's an abundance of seed. Big thing for me is just getting these open. I think we're gonna have to go like that because I can't seem to get it open. I have no fingernails. Wow. Now that was one sealed packet. Okay, these are super fine, like carrot seed. So I'm just gonna show you real close what those look like in the packet. Really, really fine, maybe even finer than a carrot seed. So these are surface sow, okay? So what I mean is you plant them on top of the soil and don't cover them, so that you can generate them with spritz of water, okay? So let's get this going. Once again, this is just cheap potting soil that I'm using, but you can tell it's very, very light. It's moist, you know, it makes a ball, and it's perfect for what we're doing. We can plant this a little bit taller. Break out some of those pieces. You can also take some of the bigger chunks out if you think they're going to block the germination of your seeds. Most of the time the seeds are so strong when they come up, unless it's a really piece of bark or wood, this organic material doesn't cause any trouble. So I never really worry about that unless they're really big pieces. So let's put it in here, and we just pat it down gently all along the edge. Okay, so that's nice and patted down. And now I'm just going to put these out in my hand. Wow, are these tiny? These are really tiny. Whew. Make sure I got them all. That's how small they are. Look at that. So you are not going to see these in the soil. So I'm just going to carefully spread them like this and just work my way around. And I see the odd little one drop. You're probably not going to see this. Oopsie, on camera. but I did see a whole bunch drop over here. So I'm just gonna try to spread them a little bit more. Okay. Now I'm just gonna firm them so they make contact with the soil. Make sure I got everything out of the package. Oh, a couple more in there. Okay. That one's done. Let's label that one because it's Joseph's coat. Right away so I don't mix the two of them up. And I always put a date on them so I know when I planted them. So you can see my chicken scratch on there and the date. And I'm just gonna put that in the pan, push it down, and I'm gonna set it aside. For now, we'll come back and water these in. All right, let's do the next packet. Let's get the soil ready. And that's what I mean about big sticks that could impact your plants. That's a pretty heavy stick, but otherwise, no. These little twigs and stuff aren't, they're just more organic material that, you know, makes for a better quality soil. And it's good for the plants. You know, talking about soil, I've never seen a soil come in a bag that is full of roots, like tree pieces, mulch, kind of thing, and hardly any soil. I have seen situations where people have done some soil comparisons and they've compared, you know, soil with a lot of twigs and stuff in it to actual potting soil. And quite honestly, you know, there's a difference between mulch and potting soil, so don't let that worry you that you might get a bag of soil that's full of, you know, or full of mulch and shreds of trees, because you usually don't get that. If anything, you get soil that's too heavy and not light enough, and that's not full of enough things like peat and that to make it nice and light. So that shouldn't be a problem. So don't let soil scare you. As long as it's light, it'll do the job. All right, so we're gonna plant up Love Lies Bleeding, Amaranth. You can even hear the packet. Sounds like it's a heavier seed. And once again, I'll struggle getting these open because I really have no fingernails too much. And my hands are quite slippery tonight. Aha, got it. Yay! Okay, so these are small, but they're going to be easier to see when we plant them, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Look at that. They're very light sand colored, so they'll show up in the dark soil. So once again, I'm just going to hold my hand like this, and I'm just going to rub my fingers, my hand together, and eventually drop them. Now with these, I can see what I'm doing, so if I get too many in one spot, I can actually go back and spread them. Now this packet has a lot of seed, you guys, and these are going to be big plants, so I'm just going to spread them out because I will be going through here and carefully planting them and separating them into larger pots as they grow. Unless I get them out in the garden fast, which I highly doubt I will. So you can see all the tiny little seedlings all over the place there, the scattering of the 10 little seeds. So that was really good. That packet was really generous with the seed. So that was great. I'm gonna get lots out of it. It's probably more than I need. So that means I can give some away to family and friends that garden, which is, I love doing that. It always makes me feel so good. All right. So I've made contact with the soil with them. Once again, surface sowed. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give them their first water. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna grab my spray bottle. This is how I water all surface seed plantings. I use a spray bottle. That way I don't overwater and I don't dislodge the seed. So basically, just make sure it's good and full. My lid's on good. And I just go along and I wet the soil. And I like to see that little bit of a shine from the water on top of the soil to know that I hit it pretty good with the spray bottle. This is something that is key to getting these plants to germinate. I'll go over it a couple times here just to make sure I hit the spot. So I hear a lot of people say, hey, I planted my seeds, they didn't germinate, they didn't do very well, they didn't sprout. Okay, so there's some things that you can do differently. Number one, find seed like what I just planted, surface planted, okay? Put it on top of the soil, make contact with the soil by pressing it in, and spritz daily, maybe even twice a day until the seeds germinate. Okay, you got to keep them moist. If you don't keep them moist, they're not going to germinate. That is the key here. So like for instance, my previous video on the coleus, I spritz it twice a day and my coleus is now up and doing well. And that is the key with anything you surface plant. And you're not going to overwater with the spray bottle. Okay, so that's the key. And I got to put the label on that one. I didn't do that. I'm just going to spritz this one. I got 2 spritz happy. I'll go back and do my label. You can see the shine of the water on the soil. That's what I aim for, a bit of a shine. That way I know that the seeds are getting, with the spray, are getting pushed into the soil and they're making that contact that we want. Okay, that's done. Now I'll go back and do what I should have did all along, which was get that label in. And sometimes that happens, you get busy, you get distracted, and you forget to make your label. Not a problem. I know I only planted 2 packets, so. Love lies bleeding. Done. Okay, so that's it for planting amaryllis, 2 different kinds. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, hey, let me know in the comments of the video. That would be great. Also, any comments or any tips or tricks that you want to share with me, or any questions you have for how I did this, or if you need a recap or some steps, or you want to just throw out a comment and say hi, I'd love to see that in the comments of my video. So I would ask that you reach out, leave some comments, like my videos, and please subscribe. Click on my subscribe button so that I can continue making great videos for you and share my knowledge of plants and seeds. So this is Creating My Garden. I want to thank you for watching my video, and hey, give me a shout out whenever you get a chance. Thank you.